Hello, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News Now, coming to you from our digital desk. We're about to take you live to an event taking place down in Columbus. It's actually being held at the College of Law at The Ohio State University. This is a program that the governor has put in place. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine put in place in 2019. It's known as the Ohio Governor's Expedited Pardon Project. What it is it's for former inmates who have served their time. They have come out, and as we have heard in the past, when you are saddled with a record, it makes it tough to get a job. It makes it tough to maybe even get a place to live. And so there is a pardon project, and certain people are eligible, certain people who have become productive members of society. They have turned their lives around after being incarcerated. And the project of getting a pardon has always been cumbersome, and it was a lengthy process of paperwork and red tape that an individual had to go through in order to get that pardon. And so the governor, understanding that there are some people who do come out rehabilitated and become, again, productive members of society. They contribute to their community, but yet are saddled with that record. The governor created this program, and this program works with the law school there at The Ohio State University, also works with Akron University to get some of that red tape cleared and expedite this process. The event here is going to be attended by not only the governor, but also we expect to hear from the professor at the College of Law there at The Ohio State University, Douglas Berman. We're also going to hear from Joanne Saul from the University of Akron School of Law, as well as expedited pardon recipients, people who have gone through this program and what it means for them to now be living with a pardon, to have their criminal history taken off their record. And we're in a little bit of delay. We're supposed to start here at about 10:30, but it looks like we are close to seeing the governor and representatives from both law schools taking the stage here. Again, being held at the Saxby Auditorium in Drinko Hall. This is at the Mortz College of Law at the University of The Ohio State University. Again, seeing some of the members, I believe that's the security team for the governor, doing maybe perhaps one last check before bringing in the governor, as well as members of both schools. A very interesting program, again, started back in 2019, all an attempt, and I'm going to even read from the press release. Governor DeWine launched this project in 2019 to simplify and expedite Ohio's lengthy pardon process for certain rehabilitated citizens who have consistently demonstrated that they've become contributing members of society. The news release from the governor's office says benefits of a pardon include access to more career, volunteer, and educational opportunities, and an overall improved quality of life without the stigma of a criminal conviction. As we say that, we see the governor and members of his party walking in. So let's take you live now to The Ohio State University.
Feel like a professor up here. I don't know. It's a very attentive class, I see. Yeah. Well, it's good to be back at Ohio State. We appreciate them hosting this. When I first became governor, one of the things, of course, you find out pretty quickly is that one of the things that you do is issue pardons. And I want to introduce two people who are directly involved in doing this, Matt Donahue and Sarah Ackman. Matt's back there. Sarah is somewhere back there as well. All right, Sarah. Sarah's hiding. And one day I said to them, we keep getting these applications from people in prison, and candidly, there's no way in hell we're going to give them a pardon. I mean, there are people who are in there for rape and murder and other things. And I said, and they've had a lot of time on their hands, and they can, send a lot of paperwork in. But I said, it just strikes me that there's probably a lot of people out there who we would give a pardon to if they only would apply. And we knew about that, and they were able to go through the process. And the process for going through to getting a pardon is not exactly an easy process. And so we started talking about this and trying to figure out, exactly what we could do. And so we came up with what we call this expedited pardon program, and that is what we are celebrating today. Back in December of 2019, I was here in this very room launching the Ohio Governor's Expedited Pardon Project, which we created to give citizens who were long ago convicted of certain crimes a second chance for better opportunities in our country and in our state. 4 years later, we are here to discuss this program again and to observe a milestone. This past week, we passed 100 individuals who had been granted pardons under this specific program. Sarah tells me that the total number is, I think, over 150, but just in this program alone, it is now 108 as of today. I approved the last ones this weekend, and told Sarah, and then she notified some of you, I guess in the last 24 to 48 hours. 108 people. They've turned their lives around by working hard, giving back to the community, abiding by the law. As I just had the opportunity to meet with some of them, some of you who are here, and one of the things that I said is people would thank me. I said, well, you earned it. And I truly mean that. This is something that every individual who we've given a pardon to under this program has earned it by their hard work and what they have done and what they have proven that they can do, and they're giving back to the community. So let me ask all of those who are here today who have been granted a pardon to stand up. And we'll give you an applause. Thank you. I think you all have a cheering section back there, I think. Yeah, that is great. Really, this has been a remarkable program to be involved with. It's taken a lot of people. For coming here, as I said, I had the pleasure of talking with some of the individuals who have received their pardons. Some have described it to me or to Sarah it's like lifting a cloud that's been hovering over them for a long, long time, for some of them for decades. Many said they would likely never have applied if it had not been for this expedited pardon program. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a story, and one of the things that we do in this process is Sarah will send me periodically a number of those individuals who have been approved by the parole board, and then will tell me their story. And these stories, frankly, are very, very inspiring. Not only what they've been convicted of, but then what they have done with their life after that. The creation of this program opened a pathway for those who qualify to bypass the backlog that sometimes exists in our system and some of the red tape and jump to the front of the line for consideration. We formed this partnership not just with my office, but with the Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections. Annette, you want to stand up? We'll recognize you. She's helped us out on this program. And, of course, our law schools, Ohio State, University of Akron, University of Dayton, University of Cincinnati, Cleveland State, all of them have been involved, and I had the opportunity to talk to some of those individuals today. The program offers free one-on-one support from the partnering universities to help those accepted into the program with the application process. Bottom line is we wanted to make pardons more easy, more accessible for those individuals who truly, truly deserve them. The truth is, as we all know, that criminal convictions, felony convictions can close doors for people. They can close opportunities. And one of the things that we have talked about in our administration as one of my goals, maybe the overriding goal, is for every Ohioan to have the ability to live up to their God-given potential. I usually talk about that in regard to children, but it's equally true for adults. And there are hurdles out there that stop people from living up to their full potential. And one of the hurdles, of course, is a felony conviction in the state. So we hope that by today's celebration, I'll call it a celebration because it is, and with the news media that is here, we will have the opportunity to get this message out to more people so they will apply. There are hundreds, probably thousands of people out there who are currently in the position you were in, which is they had a conviction. A number of years ago, they've lived great lives. They've given back to the community, but they really don't know that this system, this program exists. So what we hope to accomplish by today is to getting that message out to more people. We believe for those individuals who have changed their lives, have moved forward, the mistakes that they made years ago should not define who they are and should not define the story of their lives. Those individuals deserve the opportunity, as I said, to live up to their God-given potential. Now let me introduce Carla Thomas. Carla, more than 20 years ago, was convicted of charges involving attempted robbery, misuse of a credit card in Summit County, convictions that led to many employment roadblocks in the years that were to follow. Carla, however, worked to live a good life and to move forward. In 2022, she received a pardon through the Expedited Pardon Project, and we're now going to ask Carla to come forward and tell her story. Carla, come on up. Get that out of the way.
Thank you, Governor. So I had to ponder a long time. What would I say? Who am I? 1999, 2000, oh, I was a fighter. That was me. Every kick and turn, I was fighting. I'm a project kid. Started fighting very young. Growing up, I'm in college. Still fighting. This is where it landed me now. 2000, in the mall with a friend, fighting. You fight the security cop. I'm young, in my mind, it's just the security guard mall. I'll be okay. I thought I would be okay until I wasn't okay. Go to court. God rest her soul, Brenda Unruh. Ooh-wee. She gave me a lashing. She told my attorney, let me speak to her in the back. I got a lashing. You guys, I was in college. I don't have the story of, oh my gosh, I had this horrible life. I was just doing so bad. No, I was in college. I had 2 jobs. I was working. To me, it was just a fight. She told me that I was young enough to right my wrongs. I was 20. I was young enough to right my wrongs until I wasn't. Mind you, I'm still in college. I don't let it stop me, though. I graduate, get a bachelor's degree. My undergrad, sports medicine, athletic training, University of Akron. I can't take the athletic training test. I have a felony. Oh, go to grad school. It's going to be okay. I go to grad school. I have a Master of Science in Education, Sport Management. Looking for jobs. Ooh, not getting it in my field. So what do? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I keep going. I get a job into the hospital. I work my way through. I'm working at SUMA. Then I transfer. I become an exercise physiologist. Mind you, I'm working. She told me I was young enough to right my wrongs. Right? Wrong. I'm applying for jobs. I know that I'm not getting the jobs because I have to check a box. They're not looking because I have a bachelor's degree. And regardless if people want to admit it or not, I already had 2 strikes. I'm black and I'm a female. 3rd strike, you're a convicted felon. They don't know that it was just a fight in the mall with a security cop. They don't know that. They see that it's attempted robbery. It would make it seem like, oh, I had a gun, I went in the mall, I'm ready to shoot it up. To me, it was a small fight. That's the choice I made. Those are consequences that I had to sit in. And I sat in them. And it's tough. I'm not going to tell you that it's not tough. It wasn't hard, but I'm tenacious. I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to keep working. I'm not going to tell you that I'm not blessed. God has sustained me. He kept his hand on me the entire time, regardless if I knew it or not. And at times it didn't seem that way. My faith wavered a whole lot. At times it didn't seem that way. Because I'm like, are you kidding me? There are people who are doing way worse, and they're doing this, this, and this, and then I get hit with this. I only fought the mall security. That is still what I kept thinking in my head, my mental. You broke the law, girl. I did. 2014, I hear about the Pardon Project. How did I hear about it? From my job. I work at Fortis College. I've been there for 18 years. Somebody took a chance on me back then. I'm still there now. I was like, a Pardon Project? Never heard of that. I thought I was doomed. You guys, I thought I had this felony. It was a black cloud. It's been pressing on my back. Then, 2014, I hear about it. I get introduced to Miss Sal. Whew. Okay, if anybody knows her, then you know. It's not easy. This process was hard. This is the first time I've been introduced to it. 2014, and now she tells you you have to go back and get all your records. You guys remember this happened in 2000 and 1999. Now I have to go back and face what I did back then that I thought I tucked away because I chose to move forward. But now I got to go back. I have to take a look at that. It's hard. It's tough when you got to stare your face right in the mirror. Hey, that was you. That was you. Take ownership of that. I did. Put on the big girl pants. Now I'm going to get all these records. Oh my gosh. Then you embarrassed all over again because now you got to go to the courthouse and get all the records. Miss Saul, I want this by this day. It better get here by this day. My first application went in 2015. You guys, Kasich denied me. I had to wait almost 4 years to be denied. Talking about a pitfall. Gut-wrenching. It's okay, though. Put on your big girl pants. It was the choices and decisions that you made. Let's roll. I'm still going at it. You guys, what I didn't know then was that that situation is what propelled me to be what I am right now. I count it all. I counted all the costs. I'm still counting them right now. I got denied. Then Miss Sal, my lucky angel, calls and says, hey, there's an expedited pardon process now. You are a great candidate. I'm like, let's go. Round 2. Trepidation, though. Pit in my stomach. The first governor denied me. Would you go through this all over again? Absolutely. It's a black cloud hanging over my shoulder. You guys, if I never told anybody I had a felony, you wouldn't look at me and think that I had one. The way that I carry myself, the way that I exhibit what I exhibit out. I encourage youth. I'm a deacon at my church. I assist the teens. I'm a high school presenter. I go out and talk to high school students about life after high school. You wouldn't know that I had a felony. That passion and what I push is because what I went through. And if I can save one of them for going this route, I will. So what did I do? Put on the bootstraps. Let's get this application again. Let's go. It's go time. I'm at it. Turn the application in 2021. Now it's the waiting game. Here we go. We got a year. Year come up. Hey, you got your interview. All right, it's showtime. Let's go. But you still have to remember, that past, it comes back up. Because now you're sitting in front of the parole board and that board. Now they're asking you tough questions. You got to relive that. You got to relive some of the hurt that you've done to other people. Now I got to take accountability again. Mind you, I'm 20 years past that, you guys. I'm a whole different person. But I have to show that. And it's okay. I'm comfortable in my skin. I know what I did. I took ownership of it. God has sustained me. He promised me. Now, the gift didn't come how he said it would come. I thought that I would have the part in the first time. I didn't get it. It didn't look that way. Second time was a charm. I got it. Sarah called me, May 23rd, 2022. Dropped to my knees and screamed, "Thank you, Jesus." So, I implore anyone, if you're looking at this, take a chance on yourself. It's hard. It's hard work, but have diligence, have some tenacity. Go for it. You deserve it. You owe it to you. I definitely owed it to me. So if you ask me who I am, I'm Carla Thomas. I'm a child of God. I'm a servant. I'm a leader. I'm a mentor. But let me tell you what I'm not. I'm no longer a convicted felon.
All right, Carla, thank you. Wow, okay. Gene Hill spent 3 years in prison in the 1990s on drug-related charges out of Miami County. He admits that he made poor choices in his life, but committed then to making good choices after his release. He told us he never considered applying for a pardon, figuring he had as much a chance of getting a pardon as he did of winning the lottery. Turned out, though, he was really a great candidate. Gene was pardoned through the Expedited Pardon Project last year. Gene?
Hello, everybody. Just for the record, this is my first press conference. He does them all the time. I don't know how he does it. I'm going to start with when I was released. My first job, well, let's talk about this. Prior to getting in trouble, I owned my own business and leader in the community, all this stuff. Got mixed up with some bad people, made some really horrible decisions, and 3 years in prison. I come out. It's quite a humbling experience. My first job, worked in a factory, third shift, doing menial labor for like $7 an hour. And it was horrible. I had child support to pay, plus I had 3 years of back child support to pay, so I'm making double child support payments, trying to get by on $7 an hour. It was tough. Eventually, a friend of mine got me an interview with his company, and I was hired as a salesperson. And the owner of the company looks at me and he says, I don't care what you've done in your past. What I'm concerned about is what you do for me moving forward. So I worked for him for like 7 years, and then the financial crisis of 2008 hit. And I was in the Dayton area. I was in industrial sales. GM leaves town. Delphi leaves town. Thousands of jobs leave, mine included. So I was on unemployment. 3 weeks later, I was in a serious car accident. About lost my left leg. So 6 surgeries and 6 months of rehab. I'm back in the job market. I came up with like 3 really good opportunities. I interviewed, I got to like second and third round of interviews with all these companies. And then they would say, we really like you, you're very qualified, but we can't hire you. So after you get the door slammed in your face a few times, it sucks. So then I thought, well, if I can't work for somebody else, maybe I can work for myself again. So I started looking around for an opportunity, and I ran across, you've all heard of Liberty Tax. there was a franchise opportunity. I went to, my fiance at the time and I went to Virginia Beach, liked what we heard, and I have a bachelor's degree, and in my degree I took 5 or 6 different tax classes, kind of enjoyed that stuff. And I thought, this is perfect. So we go to Virginia Beach, like what we hear, come back home. We go to her family, borrow the money for a franchise. Well, that first year, we were in the top 10% of new franchises in the country. I'm thinking, this is going to work out. So in the next 4 years, the next 5 years, we opened 2 other franchises. We had a 4th on the way. Well, lo and behold, beginning of our 5th season, the IRS changes some rules. So my name is on the bank account. My name is on the ownership. An EFIN has an e-file identification number. Every tax office in the United States has to have one. And mine was in my daughter's name. Well, now they said all 3 of those things I just mentioned have to be the same. So I applied for the EFIN. And I was turned down. And there was an appeal process. Went through the appeal process. I never got a hearing. I wanted that audience so I could plead my case. It never happened. In fact, they told my wife that I wasn't even allowed to work in the offices anymore. I was not allowed to step foot in the offices anymore. And that's the black cloud biting you again. So at that point, I found another job, another sales job with a company, and in my opinion, way below my education and experience. But it was a job. I worked for them for like 7 years. Then COVID hit. And we were an industrial contractor, and most of the industries around were circling the wagons, not spending any money on capital projects, and that was our bread and butter. And my boss closed a business. So there I am again, no job. Fortunately, 2 good things happened. One, a family I'd known for 50 years called me, and they own a food distribution company in my hometown. And the gentleman who had run that company passed away from cancer, and his stepson stepped in to run the company, but had absolutely no business background. So he called me, and he says, I'm looking for an operations manager. Would you be interested? So I go in, we talk about it, and he asked me what I need to come to work for him. I said, well, what are you offering? And he told me, and it was like twice what I've been making since I've been released. I said, well, I'm going to have to think about it. About 30 seconds later, I said, okay. So I'm currently there, but something else happened at that same time. A friend of mine who was running for county commissioner, and he was a Republican, and he says, once I get elected, because everybody gets, Miami County is a Republican county, he says, I'm going to do everything I can to help you. He says, you need to apply for a governor's pardon. You know, and I'm going, yeah, right. Like he said, you know, might as well win the lottery. So I started doing a little research, and I ran across this program. I called Wade up. I said, Wade, you can believe this? I read the description of the program to him, you know. I said, this is me. He says, you're the poster child for that. So got my application together, sent it in. A few weeks later, I get a phone call. You've been accepted into the program. Whew, awesome. So then, as Carla said, you know, there's a lot of work that we have to do, and the law students who help you through this, they're working their tails off at the same time. So it's a team effort. And Philip, who was my law student, he was great. And he was just as excited about this process as I was. Awesome. So then we get through all the steps, and they send that to the parole board. And I had to see the parole board to get out of prison. And I don't know if most of you haven't had that experience, but you go into this room, and there's a panel of people there, and they tear you apart. You are crap. You're worthless. You feel like Al Capone when you walk out. So you got to go out and sit in the hallway. And there's this little light up here. And you sit there and wait for the light to come on. When the light comes on, and you go back in. Well, they drill you some more, and then they tell you your release date. So I got out after 90 days later, but had to talk to the parole board again, and it, like she said, it just drums everything back up. Every time you get a door slammed in your face, it makes everything fresh, like it just happened yesterday. And I went through that numerous times. And finally, so we had the hearing. Professor Saul says afterwards, "You did good. You did good." I didn't feel like I did good. And a few weeks later, get another phone call. And the parole board has voted in favor of your pardon. Whew. And she tells me, she says, "It's not a done deal yet. Don't celebrate yet, because this gentleman right here has to review your case." But she says, it's favorable. So a few weeks later, I get a phone call and got my pardon. And one other thing. In my job right now, I'm operations manager for this company, and HR is one of my duties. And I've had the pleasure of hiring 4 people with similar backgrounds. One other thing, and I'm going to get out of the way here, but so this is what a pardon looks like for you. Well, I want to read the last line to you. Therefore, by virtue of the authority vested in the governor by the Constitution and laws of this state, I do don't have my glasses on. I do hereby direct that the said offenses of Richard Hill be pardoned.
Dan DeRose with 19 News. Some very, very powerful stories there, and I think this makes the governor's point as far as why this project exists. People make mistakes. They get saddled with a felony that then follows them for the rest of their life. What about the incredible story of Carla Thomas out of Summit County? Just in college, young, gets in a fight with a security guard at a mall, and that felony sticks with her all the way through her master's degree, tries to get a job in sports science, and has the door shut in her face every time she turns around because of that conviction, even 20 years later. As you saw there, as the gentleman there said, he was the poster child for this expedited pardon program that can take just way too long and gets in the way of people carrying on their lives. We're going to wrap this up. If we have any other breaking news, it'll be here on our digital platforms. Otherwise, our 11 o'clock news is underway on CW43 and our noon news coming up on Channel 19. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. Have a good afternoon.
19 News is everywhere. Download our CTV apps and follow us on social media @Cleveland 19 News.